There's a lot of misinformation about what you should and should not do with dogs. Some people say you should put your hand out and have a dog sniff you when you first meet them. Some people say you should not comfort dogs when they're scared because it reinforces the scared behavior and makes it worse. But neither of these are true. You'll learn the truth about these myths and other spicy takes about dogs, but first, here's a counterintuitive question. Should you pet a dog on the head? All dogs like their head and ears scratched, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case, especially if you're meeting a dog for the first time. Putting your hand over a dog's head might feel threatening to them and cause them to bite. Instead, reach your hand in from the side and stroke their neck or under their chin. Once they've warmed up to you, then you can see what other spots they like to be pet. But before you even get to the point of being able to pet a dog, you've got to get their permission first. We'll talk about the right and the wrong way to greet a dog later, but first, here's a question that could be a matter of life or death. Should you give a dog people food? Some people foods, like chocolate and grapes, are deadly to dogs, but other people foods are actually good for them. Pumpkin, for example, can help your dog's digestive system. And many trainers like to use cheese because dogs love cheese and it can help them pay more attention in distracted environments. But then there's this question. If you feed your dog people food, are you accidentally creating a monster? If you give your dog a bite of food at the dinner table and they like it, it's possible that they'll start begging for more food every time you eat. So definitely talk to your vet about what people foods you can and can't give your dog, and consider whether you want to share every meal with your pup for the rest of their life. Now here's a question every dog lover needs to ask. Should you greet a dog when you walk in the door? Hear me out here. We're all guilty of walking into a friend's house, being so excited to see their dog and riling them up. But is that best for the dog? And is that what your friend wants? Obviously, it depends on the situation. If they're training their puppy to be calm when people come over, then you getting them all hyped up could be setting them back. But if they have a senior dog and they love to see them get excited like a puppy again, then maybe you riling their dog up is the best part of their day. I'm just saying that most people will appreciate you asking how you want to interact with their dog before you go riling them up. And this goes double for seeing dogs out in public that you don't know. Strangers petting their dog is a huge pet peeve of many dog owners. So I've got to ask, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to your dog? Let me know down in the comments. We've got another, more surprising myth about greeting dogs later, but let's get back to feeding dogs. Should you feed your dog in a food bowl? This might seem like an obvious yes at first, but for some people, it might not be the best decision. Food bowls are easy and kind of boring. Dog sees food, dog eats food. Another option is feeding your dog in a puzzle toy, like the Kong Wobbler. They now have to work for their food, which yes, it's more challenging, but it's also more fun and satisfying for them. This might not be the best for all dogs, but for dogs with seemingly endless energy, this could be a lifesaver because it gives them a mental workout. Next up is a surprisingly controversial question that every dog owner will deal with, but first, if you love your dog and you want them to be the best dog they can be, subscribe to Doggy Digs so you never miss out on any of our future doggy videos. Now here's a highly debated topic. Should you comfort a scared dog? According to Cesar Millan, one of the most popular dog trainers in the world, the answer is no. He says that when you comfort a scared dog, you're actually positively reinforcing them to be scared and causing them to continue to be scared in the future. But according to Dr. Patricia McConnell, an animal behaviorist, this is, and I quote, totally and completely and utterly wrong. She says that you can't reinforce fear. In the same article though, she also says that petting them might not help them feel much better, but other trainers do say that it can help. Personally, I try to comfort my dog when he's scared of fireworks or thunderstorms because it seems to make him feel a little better. What do you do when your dog is scared? Alright, enough of the scared stuff. Let's get to the sweetest and corniest question in this video. Should you use the dog voice? We all know the high-pitched, cutesy, and annoying dog voice.
Hi, Bessie, that's my good boy dog.
But do dogs actually like it? There was a study done in England where researchers looked at how dogs react to the dog voice versus a regular adult voice. If you're annoyed by the dog voice, I hate to break this to you, but they found that dogs do like the dog voice. When dogs were spoken to in the dog voice, they spent more time looking at that person and more time being physically closer to the person than if they use a regular human adult voice. And hey, we're dog lovers, so if it annoys other people and makes them go away so we can have the dogs all to ourselves, that's even better. Now, continuing with the theme of cute questions, if you want 2 dogs, should you get 2 puppies at the same time? You might think that it'll be better to just knock out the puppy phase all at once. Or, because dogs are so social, you want them to have a friend. But most trainers severely advise against this. If you get 2 puppies at the same time, there's a chance for 2 main problems, and together they're commonly called littermate syndrome. The first problem is that they'll bond with each other more than they'll bond with you. They've already spent the first 8 weeks of their lives together, and they speak the same language, so it's pretty easy to see how this could happen. This could lead to them being difficult to train or anxious when they get separated because they rely on each other so much. And the second problem is actually the opposite of the first. As the puppies get older, many trainers see 2 dogs raised together exhibit more aggression between each other, or one starts to bully the other. That doesn't mean you can't get 2 puppies at once, it's just that most trainers highly recommend against it. When I got my puppy, I asked my vet what he thought about me getting another one. He had some great advice for me. Wait until my current dog is old enough and well behaved enough to be a good influence on the new puppy. Now here's a question. I'm guessing you'll say yes, you should, but you rarely ever do. Here we go. Should you brush your dog's teeth? We brush our teeth every day, so why shouldn't our dogs? According to one study, brushing your dog's teeth more frequently led to healthier teeth. Yeah, obviously. But here's the kicker. They recommend dog owners to brush their dog's teeth every day or 2. I don't know a single person who actually does this, do you? The good news here is that brushing your dog's teeth isn't the only way to take care of them. Chewing on chew toys is kind of like the fun way that they can brush their own teeth. And believe it or not, giving them dry kibble as opposed to soft food can actually help their teeth too, because it scrapes off plaque as they chew it. Now, I'm not telling you need to start brushing your dog's teeth every day from now on, but you might want to talk to your vet and make sure that the 2 of you have a plan to take good care of your dog's teeth. And speaking of their health, here's a question every dog owner needs to answer. Should you spay or neuter your dog? What's crazy is that many countries have different practices here. In America, the AKC estimates about 80% of dogs are spayed or neutered, but in Norway, it's actually illegal to do this to your dog unless it's medically necessary. If you choose for your dog not to get this procedure done, you run the risk of having unplanned puppies, and I know your dog isn't trying to pay no child support. Plus, life will be more difficult if you bring your dog to the dog park or doggy daycare, because you'll have to make sure there's no other intact pup of the opposite sex around. Then again, if you do decide to sterilize your dog, some studies have found this can cause an increased chance of joint problems, obesity, or other diseases. My prediction is that as these studies become more commonly known, we'll see fewer people in America spay or neuter their dogs. Of course, if this happens, hopefully we'll also see more responsible pet ownership too, so that every dog has a loving home. Now, your dog's age, breed, and gender can all affect how risky this procedure is, so obviously do your research and talk to your vet before you make this big decision. Now, here's a tricky question some dog owners will have to answer more than others. Should you stop natural but problematic dog behaviors like chewing and digging? Well, let's define the word stop. If your dog is destructively chewing up your shoes, yes, you probably want to stop that. But most dogs love chewing, it's a natural dog behavior, and we just learned that it helps keep their teeth clean, so you don't necessarily want to totally stop it. Instead, it's better to give them an outlet to safely do these natural dog behaviors. With chewing, it's as easy as buying them a few chew toys from Amazon. With other behaviors, like digging, it's a little bit trickier, but you could set up a designated digging spot, kind of like a sandbox. But let's back up a few steps. Why are they doing this behavior in the first place? Are they anxious, bored, overflowing with pent-up energy? Addressing the core reason of why they're digging or chewing can help decrease these behaviors, which is especially important if they become a problem. And speaking of problem behaviors, here's a controversial question. Should you discipline a dog? Well, this depends on your definition of discipline. If you're using physical or verbal punishment to instill fear or pain in your dog, then it's a big fat no. Sure, it'll stop the unwanted behavior at the time, but 1, it'll hurt your relationship with them in the long term, and 2, it just suppresses the behavior instead of actually changing it. Instead, you want to guide them to want to make the right decision by rewarding good behavior and removing rewards when they do unwanted behavior. An example of rewarding good behavior is giving them a treat when you ask them to sit and then they sit. An example of removing rewards is if they're pulling on the leash to get somewhere, you stop moving so that they're not getting what they want. Now here's one of the most misunderstood questions when it comes to dogs. When you greet a new dog, should you put your hand out for them to smell first? Most people do this, but it's actually the wrong move to make and could result in you getting bitten. The better choice? Instead of walking up to a dog and shoving your hand in their face, let the dog come to you. If they're scared or unsure, it can help to squat down so you're close to their level and turn your body to the side to appear less threatening. If they're feeling friendly and want some pets, they'll let you know. But if they're feeling a bit nervous, they'll also let you know. And it's best that they let you know by not coming over to say hi to you instead of biting you because you stuck your hand in their face. Now, if you want to learn how to get a dog to love you, watch 12 scientific ways to get your dog to love you the most next.